right. Well, thank you. Welcome to another episode of the Esports Classroom Podcast, where we talk to a lot of people involved in esports, high school, college level, and everything in between. So we have with us tonight, Rich. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Rich Green. I'm the director of esports, or I'm sorry, the director of radio, digital content, and esports at Indiana State University. I'm still getting used to saying the title.
Yeah, I would need my business card for that.
I'm still waiting for those to come in too.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about that. You're at Indiana State. How did you get into your current role and then connect it to esports?
Sure. So I've been at Indiana State for 12 years, where my job was to basically be the general manager of the college radio stations. So I've been working in the media landscape for a number of years. We've got a nationally award-winning radio station, and during that time I've also been the advisor for our casual gaming club, Sycamore Gaming. And with that, we we had some students who were interested in doing esports. Okay, well, how do we make that happen? How do we get going? And then one of my colleagues, who is no longer here, we sort of had conversations about, well, how do we actually get esports here? Then we created a committee with the blessing of some of the people in student affairs at the time, the VP of student affairs. So we created this committee. We started putting together a dossier. We had like a 46-page document about how much it's going to cost and what the benefits are, the whatever. And so by strike of lightning, we got our director or vice president of enrollment management working with our vice president of student affairs, and we met with them. We presented in front of them to their cabinet, and then we were able to build a facility and started with a Smash team, and now we're competing in 4 varsity titles.
So what are the 4 titles you compete as part of right now?
Sure. So this season, we just started our first season in the NECC. This is our first fall. Smash, Valorant, and Rocket League. And then in the spring, we compete in the Missouri Valley Conference, and we're adding Overwatch to that in the spring.
Our Overwatch season, actually, week 1 starts this week at the high school level, so we have a match tomorrow. So
yeah.
Yeah, they added perks. Now it's all new stuff to learn. I don't like it. Just keep the game. No.
Yeah. I'm the esports director who doesn't know much about Overwatch. I'm the Valorant coach by osmosis.
Yep.
Until I find an actual Valorant coach. I'm more into Smash and Rocket League if we were talking about competing. My old competition, I competed a lot in Madden and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for us to add Madden as a title, but yeah, we also our Rocket League season starts this week too, so that's kind of fun. That's been the title I've coached the most, I think, compared more so than Overwatch. Yeah. So what were some of the benefits that really got people on board with having esports at your college?
So a couple of things. One, we even have the academic background in teaching and stuff like that. And also the broadcast stuff. I was able to kind of parlay that into like, hey, listen, we do a lot of really great things with live sports. I have a number of students who are interested in video gaming and anime and sort of like that nerd culture, right? And not everybody wants to do football or a basketball game, but they really like talking about video games. And so that gives them another outlet for us to do play-by-play, and they get to learn how to do those things in the broadcast. And not only that, it comes with creating graphics and overlays and doing, working with vMix and OBS or whatever it is at the time that we're doing. So talking about that, and then be able to create coursework around that in the future. And, I mentioned that we were once part of student affairs. Now we're part of College of Arts and Sciences under us in student media, which is another story. But, being able to talk about that academic component and also the hands-on experience, Indiana State's very heavy on experiential learning and giving students the opportunities to do those things, right? And the radio station, of course, and TV stations, all those other things. But you are very heavy in service and engagement and doing those things. And then, again, talking about the recruitment factor, right? The universities, every university is looking for ways to get more students through the door, and Indiana State's no different. And so creating a space for gamers, creating a space for just everybody. I mean, you don't have to be an esports athlete to walk into the lab. It's literally for everybody at any time. And so being able to use that, so academics, experiential learning, and then of course the recruitment factor really helped us push this thing forward.
I think some of the academics talk about it. We see this at the high school level too, is that's kind of, we're trying to get this, it's an opportunity to have authentic learning, right? It's not just because I mean, you talk about the live stream. Like I've had to do most of the graphic creation and shoutcasting myself for my teams, which we should never do. I mean, really, it's AI has been my friend for creating graphics. I will say
Sure.
that because
Yeah.
my I don't know Photoshop,
We got really into
but
Canvas here. Like we
yeah,
just,
oh, I
yeah,
love Canvas.
yeah. Or
Every I
Canva. I'm
mean,
sorry. Canvas is what we use for school.
oh, sorry, yeah,
Canva. Yeah.
Canva,
Canva.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, I do all my editing for this whole thing on Canva. I mean,
Oh, great. Yeah. It's a really
I'm
good
like, you
tool.
know what? It works. Why would I have to
Yeah.
use anything else? But even so, for our own esports team, our high school team, like our graphics are created in Canva, everything like that. But our logo was created by a high school student. I just said, hey, I'll give
Yeah.
you guys a gift card if somebody
Yep.
creates me a great logo. Somebody create me a great logo. There we go.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's
s-
important to get that student involvement, right? And
yep,
our radio station logo was created by a student, and we had students help create their esports logo. Using all of that, all those tools, and it's not about that. It's the event planning that goes with it. They're
yep.
learning so much that goes just into esports. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's a lot more than just playing video games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, so do you guys have scholarships that you can offer to players, or where are you at with that? Because I know that's where a lot of schools vary. Like they don't have the ability to offer scholarships, or they do, depending on their size.
Yeah, we do not currently.
Yep.
We're still brand new. Like I said, we just started competing in the NECC this fall. This will be our third season competing in MVC, Missouri Valley Conference.
Yep.
So working with enrollment, working with admissions, working with the provost, finding ways to create those opportunities to get those kind of students here. The first question I get asked in Discord or if we're out recruiting is, how much can I get? What's my
Hmm.
what's my stipend for coming to play? What's my scholarship? And the answer is, well, I don't have that right now,
Yep.
right? And so I don't my lines are blurred when it comes to JV versus varsity. It's just whether who's better and who's not. And there's no scholarship that goes with that. But we're hoping to do that.
Yep.
Those are one of the things that I'm hoping to, as this thing gets deeper, I'm able to create those opportunities for students.
Yep. I think that's kind of like, I know that's a tough thing to do. I mean, the funding aspect in
Yeah.
all of this, whether it's high school or college, is always that thing is trying to get people on board and then getting the money. Like our local fundraiser ends tonight for our high school team, and I'm just like, hey, I get to buy new stuff. I'm so happy. It's sometimes it takes a while to do that. Um, so new program, been competing. You have 4 titles now.
Mhm.
So what have been some of the biggest successes that you've seen?
Our Valorant team went undefeated in the regular season for our division in NECC, which was great.
Yep.
Again, we've had some rough go. We had a rough go with our teams when they're brand new and they're still learning. It's hard to get that cohesion going, and so
Yep.
that's one of the things that we've had to learn is you can't just throw a team together. You have to be, especially a title like Valorant. It's so team heavy and so communication focused that you have to have that rapport. And so that's one of the things we were able to accomplish this year. Now we didn't have the success in the playoffs. We made it, we finished Final Four and then, finished fourth place. And I'm happy with that, right? Based on sort of the past, but that's something we hope to do is be able to compete more in these, and not just rely on like, hey, we've got this shiny new thing, but also we're competitive with this
Yep.
thing. And the university wants to see that as well, right? They don't, I mean, yeah, it's cool to play in the sandbox. It's great. But at some point, we want to see, I'm not saying like a return on investment because we might not be a program that's going to win national titles anytime soon. But we're also not going to like limit our capabilities. We're not going to sit there and say, well, we can't make it, right? I'm never going to put a negative on it immediately. But that's one of our big ones is, just having a season like Valorant that had three out of my 4 teams. I'm sorry. Yeah, because we play Marvel Rivals in the fall. We're not doing that in the
Yep.
spring, but we play Marvel Rivals in the fall. So 3 out of my 4 teams made the playoffs, and that was great. I
Yeah.
love that. And I'm hoping to continue the same thing moving into the MVC, where we had our Valorant team make the finals, not finals, but the uh, conference championships last year.
Hmm.
I'm hoping to bring more teams to that as well. And as we continue to play, the better we'll get. It's just like when I started this radio station 12 years ago, we had 5 total students. And now we've been nationally recognized a number of times as one of the best college radio stations in the nation. It just takes some time, and the esports will be
Yep.
just the same. Yep.
Yeah, and to get that, that this is a good team, and you come into a good team, and that brings in more people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean yeah, having that success, top 4, early on, that's a really good thing to hang your hat on and say, hey, this is great. Now that's my expectation moving forward. Let's just at least do this, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good to see some
Uh,
trophies on the wall. It'll help with that recruitment
yep.
factor. It's those little things that people look to is like, ooh, wow, shiny, right?
Yep. A couple years ago, our high school league, we actually got banners if you made it to state. And so in our main hallway, I took over one of the class or the office workrooms, and in the windows are all our banners from that season. So that's a nice thing because again, people see that they now know more about it. They trust that. I was actually walking. The mayor of Ames was walking through, and he pointed at it and asked questions
Yeah.
about it. And so I had to talk to him. Hey, yeah, that's my team.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, it's important, and it's especially it's a badge of honor too for the university, right?
yep,
And so along our walls we have all of our awards that we've won for the radio station, and do I measure success on whether or not students won an award? Absolutely not. I'll never make that a thing,
yep.
but it certainly helps when it comes to certain things and gives us recognition, and then again, it's another positive that the university can hang their hat on.
About how many students do you have participating in esports right now?
Oh, we just added Overwatch. So roughly 30, 35 right now. We have, our teams and then some reserves. The goal
Yep.
is to have a varsity team and a JV team each season. That's the
Yep.
goal. At Missouri Valley Conference, we don't have varsity and JV. JV is just one team.
Yep.
But, being able to compete in the NECC or another league year round will give us that opportunity to help. That competition really helps build a program. That's one thing we hadn't really thought of until this year, where I was like, we really need to compete in other things. Iron sharpens iron, right? Let's
Yep.
play against some teams, get us in a competitive mindset. So when we go into the spring, we're not ice cold, which is the way it's been the last 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of nice when I've seen that with colleges that you guys do have like seasons that it's not just one season for per title. Like it is at the high
Yeah.
school level. Like we're starting Overwatch and Rocket League. We're going to do that for 7, 8 weeks and then state, and then we're done until the next year.
Yep. And that's how it was. We would when we did we our only title we did 2 years ago. Our only title was Smash, and
Yep.
that's all we played 6 or 7 weeks, and that was it. We were done. And then I was like, okay, we'll see you next year.
Yep.
And then when we did it again next spring, it's like we've there's got to be another way. We've got
Yep.
to find a way to get some funding to join these other leagues. And I don't need to join every league, but if I can get my teams in a fall and a spring league, that's going to be so beneficial for us moving
Yep.
forward.
What are some of the other challenges that you've run into, or maybe the players have run into themselves too?
Well, right now it's coaching.
Yep.
With I can't. I mean, I've been able to find my coaches stipends this semester, but that was another thing is like, okay, can you coach? But more
Yep.
importantly, can you like advise? Because not in a college setting, do I have somebody who can knows Valorant, who also has time to come in after hours and run practices and show up to matches? That's really difficult, right?
Yep.
And that's one of the issues I run into. Now I have a really good Smash coach. I've got a good Rocket League coach. I found a Valorant coach, which is not, or I mean, say an Overwatch coach. But Valorant that's tougher, right? But if I
Yep.
had the ability to create actual job positions for part-time coaches, to get like we just started a grad assistant this semester. I'm hoping to build that program as well. Help me sort of with some sponsorships and things like that. Excuse me.
Yep.
Hmm. But that's really the most difficult thing is finding help with all this.
Yep.
We're doing okay. We're swimming, but I want to run some laps.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we see that at the high school level too, where it's one coach typically has to coach all the titles, and we are definitely not that knowledgeable about every title. Like, I mean, I always tell my players, like, okay, I played a little Overwatch, but I don't remember all the names. It's the hamster guy. That's what I refer to, Like, it's going to be that
Yep.
way. I kind of know how each player works. I'm lucky right now. I have one of my alumni. He graduated last year, part of our state champion Rocket League team.
Yeah.
Came back. He's helping to coach our Rocket League team. He comes in 2 days a week because he goes to college in town. And then stares over and helps, give some pointers to Overwatch.
Yeah.
But
And the
having
big
that's
thing that
been
a lot of
great.
people talk about is it's not just about the coaching and knowing knowledge of the game, it's how well you connect with the students.
Yep.
And can they count on you to be an advisor? Can they count on you to be somebody they can count on? A lot of these students are far away from home, and
Yep.
creating that home away from home and creating an environment that feels welcoming, comforting, that is for everyone, right?
Yep.
It's important. Yes, I love X's and O's. I'm a Madden guy. I love 2K, right? I please, right? I want to be able to contribute in that way, but a lot of times it's really just an escape and being there for those students who need that. And so that's kind of the
Yep.
philosophy I've taken in my years of working in higher ed is, hey, come here. 99% of you will never work in a radio station your entire life. I don't care. Come
Yep.
here, have fun, be a part of the process, find your people. I don't care if you work here. I don't care if you're at the TV station. I don't care if you're on the Quidditch team. Find your people. It's so important.
Yeah, it's that community aspect, right? It's
Yep,
the reason
absolutely.
why I do that. And I do see that with a lot of our, I'm going to say better high school coaches, because it's easy to see the ones who make the state and regularly do this. They're able to create that team atmosphere.
Hmm.
And that's really one thing. I even said to our kids today, I'm like, guys, you're going to win more if you play as a team instead of a group of individuals, right?
Yeah.
We got to be playing together. We got to be talking. We got to be working together.
Yeah, you don't have to love each other, but you still
Yep.
have to be able to find common ground.
Yep. It does give them a place. And we tout esports at the high school level because it gives a space for kids who normally don't get that.
Yeah.
And to hear that's happening at the college level, that's awesome. That's what we want to see, is that it's giving those students a place to connect with each other so that, it's a home in a sense.
Yeah. We have 25 gaming PCs in our lab that a
Yep.
lot of students would never have access to, right?
Yep.
And so a lot of students are actually having to learn how to play esports on the PC instead of their console.
Yes.
And it's interesting and it's a learning curve,
Yep.
but I love that we can provide that opportunity for people who might not ever get that opportunity.
It's learning skills, and this is kind of a funny thing, just because my whole area is education technology. I've been a tech
Mhm.
director, tech integrationist, and we've moved kids to Chromebooks, which I love Chromebooks, but they're missing some skill sets. And it's funny when I have my console players come in, and now they're on a gaming PC. And I'm like, all right, guys, we got to change some settings. I'm trying to learn how to teach them how to troubleshoot and do all this stuff, so that
Yeah.
they're getting some extra skills that maybe they wouldn't otherwise get. But it's mostly so we can play the video games and beat the other team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me
Uh,
asking, how many people are in your program? I know you're the host, but I'm just.
yep. No, no. Like, so right now, our Overwatch team, we got about a dozen kids, give or take. The problem with the esports, I think, in high school, I know this is not just me, is you have some kids that come in and go. It's some of those kids don't have that experience yet being part of a team and dependably showing up, and or at least telling me, hey, I can't be there today.
Sure.
My Rocket League team, I'm only at about 5 or 6 right now. So that gives me about 18, 20 kids right now. But in the spring, we'll be playing Mario Kart and Valorant and a shortened Marvel Rival season. So I expect to see at least that amount. And then our fall season, we just play Smash, and I had about another dozen kids there. And I do
Wow.
get some overlap,
Hmm.
but most of my Overwatch kids out right now, I didn't see them before. Like, I have some
Yeah.
juniors that this is their first time coming out for esports, and I had to ask them why now. I mean, come on, I've been here for 4 years, guys. Come on. You could
Half
have
my
joined me
rivals
earlier.
team, yeah, half my rivals team now makes up the Overwatch team moving into
Yep.
the spring. So it's
Yeah,
good to see that.
I think that's the only way we have a Rivals or Valorant team in the spring, is if the Overwatch team sticks around. Because I had like 10 graduating seniors last year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was a little nervous about this year.
Sure.
So I think that gets to another thing you got to think about at the college level. So, what have been the best things that you think you've done to try to recruit people into the program? What are those things that really stood out for you? As this is how we got some kids on board.
Yeah, a lot of it is just grassroots. Working in our engagement fairs early in the semester, and then summer we have orientation in the summer, so we have a chance to set up tables and talk to students who are just signed up or just coming to campus. We've also done some different kinds of outreach. So Indiana has a high school esports network
Yep.
where they have a really big, like 150, 160 high schools and middle schools that compete in esports, which I was like, what? And that was another way we
Yeah.
were able to get this forward too. Is there's a lot of schools that are doing that just in the state. So going to their championships and getting a chance to recruit some of those students and talk to those students, tell us about our program. We did this summer, did this thing called PopCon, which is just like a gaming nerd convention, conducive in Indianapolis.
Yep.
So we got a chance to set up in the main area there and talk to students and do those things. And of course, recruiting through our broadcast of the radio. We have our own Twitch
Yep.
channel, we have a YouTube channel, and doing those, and then word of mouth coming to the esports lab. Here's a link to our Discord. Are you interested in this game? And just kind of doing that. It's tough going, and it'll get easier as we continue. but and we'll get more targeted with our recruitment. But for now, we're kind of just like, come everybody, we'll
Yep.
find a spot for you.
I think that'll be an interesting thing as I talk to more and more states, especially colleges, like colleges who have easier. Because in Iowa, we have a big state league again, about 150 schools plus
Mhm.
competing, and we see colleges come at our state championships, which are in person. And so that's a great way for them to meet players and that. And I bring in
Yep.
college coaches all the time if I can. I'm like, especially because some of them are better coaches than me. So yeah, please come to Ames,
Yes.
coach my kids,
Yeah.
let us play with your kids. Like I'm doing anything I can to get my kids more opportunities and better coaching because again, I'm not the knowledge expert on any of these games.
And I think it's
Um,
understand. I think it's important for us to understand that, right? It's
yep,
okay to sort of be like, listen, I'm not the X's and O's guys. Like, I'll give you a good program. We'll give you a place to party. But we'll find the people that will help you mostly. And that's one of the things. Again, the NACC stuff just this fall has
yep,
been opened so much to me. And then I just joined NACAD, or I've been part of the
yep,
NACAD for about a year now, doing their mentoring program, which is again so helpful. Esports for me, I've only been involved with it for about 2, 3 years. I've been a part of gaming my whole life, right? But the
yep,
actual competitive side, other than me doing Madden tournaments when I was their age,
yep.
20 years ago, right? That's my competitive niche. And I've done some speed running for The Legend of Zelda. Like that's it, right? And so I'm a retro guy.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
I'm doing what I can to help support them and to figure this out so to give them the place that they deserve.
I think that you touched on NACAD and that was one of the things I'm looking at is how do we get more professional learning for coaches and those running the programs. Luckily, our state league, we have a great, strong Discord. So people are asking
Mhm.
questions all the time
Yep.
because we get new coaches, new coordinators every season. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to learn. NACAD, and I had Cole Prescott on a couple episodes
Cole's great.
ago.
Yeah.
And I've known him since he was up at Northwestern because he was recruiting my kids.
Mhm.
That's a great program. Been to their, the conference in the summer, which has been great. There is a lot of learning to go, but getting connected with other coaches, I think, has always been one of the best things to do.
It's always like those conferences and things. I haven't
Yep.
been in a NACAD conference, but just my personal experience with broadcasting conferences is getting a chance to network and learn from other people. I've learned so much more from just my colleagues doing other things. And
Yep.
I am not so naive to think that I know everything, and I'll never say that. But what I am is I will learn from you, and I will take what I think is good from you and try to incorporate it best I can in my
Yep.
program.
I will give a shout out to their summer conference. I went 2 years ago when it was at University of Minnesota in the Gophers football stadium. It was actually
Oh,
in some of
wow.
the
Okay.
offices. That was
Sweet.
fun to me. I'm
Yeah.
I'm, I'm from Minnesota, so I love
All
my
right.
Gophers. I'm a Cyclone, but I also love my Gophers. I wasn't gonna make this last summer. I think it's on my must dos for next summer because again,
Yeah.
it's just getting connected. Plus, with this whole thing, I want to talk to more people.
Yeah.
And I do have to give like your whole program there, connecting to the communication side, the radio side. I think you have probably a good advantage that not a lot of schools have because you're building in so much more than just the esports program. It seems to be a lot of connections there, which I think will probably help you sustain this a lot longer than some schools who put esports as a standalone thing off to the side.
Yeah, we're very well supported in our arts and sciences program. Our dean is very supportive of our program. She's a gamer herself, so she gets
Yep.
it, right? And again, making sure that we can incorporate the academic side of it
Yep.
is going to be helpful. And so far, we've been very supported. We hope to continue to do so. And even though we've moved departments, I'm probably the only person or one of the only people in the world who runs a radio station and an esports program, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine there's a lot of us who do that. And then
Very
teach on
small
top
Venn
of that.
diagram.
Yeah, it certainly is a little
Yeah.
weird, but I absolutely love it. When we started this, I never thought I'd be in that position to where I would also lead the esports, but I'm also not going to let it die, right? I'm going to do
Yep.
what I can to keep pushing it forward. And my experience here at the radio station, I have great students, and they're incredible what they do. Thankfully, they're in a position to allow me to sort of do this other thing, but also they continue to cook and make us look good, right?
Yep.
So I have a really good core, so that helps out a lot.
Yeah. I've said this many times. It's like, this is my 22nd year as an educator, 6 years as an esports coach, and it's still the best thing I've done as an educator.
Love that.
And
Yeah.
I had no idea that I was going to do this when I started out teaching.
Yep.
But
That's cool. There's a few of us out there. That's
yeah,
great. And that everybody just comes when I I went to the NACE conference in Indianapolis a few summers ago,
Yep.
just because we're in the process of building our program, our lab. So I want to meet with the vendors and things like that. But a lot of people are like, yeah, that we wanted to do this right out of college, and we wanted to
Yep.
run sports programs, and I'm like, that's great. I love that. I wish that was a thing when I was younger, but I'm
Yep.
happy I found my way here. It's very exciting.
Yeah. I think I'm a classic gamer like you. I always say I'm an OG original gamer, thumbs trained by Mario. Um, so getting kind of the end, is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to share out or you want to say?
I don't think, I mean, I think we covered it. This is really good.
Yeah.
This is great, dude. I was not
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say I would take anything away from it. I was like, this is a really good conversation. I'm really
Yep.
glad we're having it in a way that maybe we can bring this to others, right?
Yep.
And there's might be more people like you and I who we love gaming, but
Yep.
like we don't have an esports background. So we're just trying to
Yep.
like connect the dots as we go. And so I am just infatuated with this now, and I'm excited
Yeah.
to learn and continue to learn and hope that
Well,
we can bring more people to us,
yep.
Patrick.
And this is kind of why I'm doing this whole thing is came out because of discussions I have with people at various conferences is that
Yeah.
Just trying to create some opportunities and the awareness and the communication around it. I say it's like my favorite example is talking with the esports coach from Compton, whose esports equipment was bought by Dr. Dre. I'm like, that is a really cool story. I want to hear more
Love
about that.
Yeah.
And what challenges do you have in Compton that I don't have, but I may
Right.
also have in Ames, Iowa? Slightly
Right.
different demographic
Yeah.
in situation. But no, I we'll probably have to reach out to you again because one of the things I want to do with this is also have some panels. Like have like 3-4 people on at a time,
Sure.
especially when we're talking colleges, we're talking high schools. Bring on probably have you and Nate Rodemeyer talk about the differences between your two programs. He's at Marshalltown Community College. He has a lot of esports management and other things connected to that.
Mhm.
And whereas you have the radio, I think there's some interesting connections there.
Sure.
All right, we're going to end on the fun question. What's your favorite game of all time, and what game are you currently playing?
You can't ask an OG gamer like us our favorite game of all
Yeah.
time, right? Because
You
I
have to pick
started with
one.
Mario 1, right?
Yep.
I mean, but before that, I mean, I'm 43, so I'm trained by Nintendo. Is that the
Yep.
dumb T-shirt, right? Probably Legend of Zelda, the original. I've speedrun that. I love that game so much.
Yeah.
But I got really into probably Ocarina of Time is probably my favorite Zelda game of all time. Again, I'm not unique.
Yep.
My favorite Final Fantasy game is Final Fantasy VII, right? And not unique. The game one of the other questions that you had on here was what I'm currently playing.
Yep.
And I just picked up the new Metroid Prime
Oh, yeah.
Switch 2. So my first Metroid Prime experience. I've got my like Super Metroid little sign back here.
Mhm.
But I really loved Metroid Dread on the Switch, and I'm excited to play Metroid Prime. Give Madden a little rest.
Yep.
And then I also play this dumb baseball simulator. I don't want to call it dumb. It's great. It's the out of the park baseball. It's like a full on
Yep.
like PC sim for baseball. And I'm such a baseball junkie nerd. It just kind of satiates my need when the Cubs are losing or getting knocked out of the playoffs, things like that. So
Yeah. Which I'm a Twins fan, so that'd be all the time for me. Yeah. So like I was just talking with a college player and he talked about that, and I have Tears of the Kingdom. I'm finally getting to. Stole it from my son.
I haven't finished it yet. A game I'm
No.
so good at I have a 2-year-old. I have a 2.5-year-old.
Yep.
I'm so good at starting a game and never finishing it. And then with a
Yep.
game like Tears of the Kingdom, where's all the shrines before I actually start doing the story? But
Yep.
oh my God, you're gonna love it. It's so good.
Yeah. No, that was my problem with the other Zelda game is that I never finished it because I was trying to complete everything. Like I'm not going to face Ganon. I want to do everything else first.
Yeah.
I'm still missing some of the guys. So I just want to say thank you for being on. I'm really curious about your program, seeing how it grows over the next couple of years, and hopefully you get that funding so you get some scholarships. I'm sure. I mean, it sounds like you're set up for success, is what I'm going to say.
I think so. We're definitely on the right track.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening, and stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you.